Across the heart of Africa, water is both a giver and a taker of life. Here, rivers carve their way through plains of tall grass and sandy soil, breathing motion into a continent of contrasts. Each year, the rhythm of the land follows the sky, swelling with abundance when the rains arrive, then hardening into desolation when they depart. For a time, ponds brim with sound, frogs calling, fish thrashing in the shallows, insects buzzing in the humid air. But soon, the clouds disperse, and the last storms fade into memory. The rivers retreat. Pools shrink into patches of cracked mud. One by one, the signs of life begin to disappear. Yet beneath this dry, silent earth, something remarkable remains. Entombed in the clay is a creature that has mastered the ancient rhythm of flood and drought, a being that can breathe both air and water and wait patiently through the dry spell for the world's renewal. It is the African lungfish, an animal as old as time, a survivor of continents long vanished, and the undisputed king of the drought. For hundreds of millions of years, the lineage of lungfish has endured every upheaval the earth has offered. Their ancestors swam through the primeval swamps of the Devonian period, long before mammals, birds, or even dinosaurs drew breath. When countless other species succumbed to the shifting forces of extinction, the lungfish persisted, adapting, evolving, and clinging to life in the most unlikely of places. Today, the African lungfish stands as one of the oldest living representatives of that lineage. To encounter it is to witness evolution's patience, a story still unfolding in the muddy waterways of tropical Africa. Its appearance is simple but purposeful. The long, cylindrical body, the tapering fins, the thin skin that glistens with mucus, all reveal a creature perfectly tailored for an amphibious life. But the true wonder lies hidden inside. Unlike most fish, which depend solely on their gills to extract oxygen from water, the lungfish carries within it a working lung, not a mere accessory, but a fully developed organ, remarkably similar in structure to our own. It gulps air from the surface and draws it deep into two sac-like lungs hidden within its chest. To many scientists, this ancient design makes the lungfish a living bridge between the world of water and the world of land, a surviving echo of the evolutionary leap that eventually gave rise to amphibians, reptiles, and finally, us. In the warm months of Africa's rainy season, when rivers surge and floodplains shimmer beneath the sun, the lungfish is an active wanderer. It drifts gracefully along the muddy bottom, stirring the sediment with slow, deliberate movements. With its slender fins, it pushes through murky channels in search of food, insect larvae, worms, plant matter, and detritus that drift through the current. Though primitive in form, the lungfish is a skillful forager. It uses a keen sense of smell and taste, tracing invisible trails left by hidden prey. Flexible lips and crushing tooth plates allow it to grind even hard-shelled snails and crustaceans with ease. Beneath its sluggish appearance lies efficiency, a patient rhythm perfectly tuned to its environment. During these months of plenty, it breathes both through its gills and its lungs, switching effortlessly between the two realms as the oxygen levels in the water fluctuate. It is at home in both elements, neither fully fish nor fully something else entirely. But as the dry season approaches, the rivers begin to vanish day by day. The water levels shrink until the once abundant floodplain becomes a network of disconnected puddles. The air grows hotter, and the oxygen in the remaining pools fades quickly. For most aquatic life, this marks the beginning of the end. But for the lungfish, it marks a moment of transformation. Sensing the decline of its watery home, the lungfish begins an ancient ritual of survival. With its fins, it digs downward into the soft mud, inch by inch, carving a narrow chamber for itself. The movement is slow and deliberate, a return to safety deep beneath the surface, where the soil still clings to a trace of moisture. When the chamber is deep enough, the fish begins to secrete mucus, a sticky protective slime that envelopes its body completely. Over several hours, The mucus dries and hardens into a paper-thin shell. Inside this casing, the lungfish is sealed away from the parched world above. Here it will remain, curled tightly within its burrow, breathing through a single narrow tube that connects to the surface. This is its lifeline, the conduit through which it draws precious air. Now begins a process as astonishing as it is profound: estivation, nature's long slumber. In estivation, the lungfish lowers its metabolism to nearly nothing. Its heartbeat slows to a faint pulse, its digestion halts, even its waste production ceases. With each passing day, the fish consumes almost none of its stored energy, surviving on a delicate balance of biochemical precision. It will remain like this for as long as it must, not days or weeks, but months, sometimes even years. There are records of lungfish discovered in dried-up ponds that had lain dormant for more than 4 years, revived to full life when the rains returned. For scientists, this state of suspended life defies easy explanation. How can a creature so completely still, encased in earth and deprived of water, endure for so long? The answer lies in its remarkable physiology. Within the lungfish, specialized enzymes regulate the preservation of tissue, preventing decay despite the near absence of moisture. Waste products that would normally be toxic are converted into harmless compounds and stored inside its body until the drought ends. The lungfish, in essence, pauses the passage of time. It is as though the creature has learned not only to survive the seasons, but to step outside them entirely, waiting patiently for the earth's next breath. When at last the rain returns, it arrives with music, the deep percussion of thunder, the steady rhythm of falling drops, and the scent of dust turning back into soil. Streams awaken, puddles merge, and the world drinks greedily once more. In its earthen chamber, the lungfish senses the change. Moisture softens the hardened cocoon, loosening the soil that seals it in place. Slowly, it stirs, flexing muscles long dormant, breathing deeply for the first time in years. Moments later, the cocoon opens. Mud and rain mix, and a ripple spreads through the surface pool as the lungfish emerges, alive and renewed. It exhales a bubble of stale air, inhales the freshness of water again, and drifts forward, a living resurrection. Everything about this moment mirrors the story of its kind. Through countless ages, the lungfish has repeated the same ritual: retreat, endure, awaken, begin again. Each emergence is a testament to nature's ability to persist through adversity without losing its ancient rhythm. The relationship between the African lungfish and its environment is a quiet, cyclical concord, an unspoken pact between organism and earth. It thrives not in spite of hardship, but because of it. By mastering the art of waiting, it has carved out a niche in a land of extremes. And when the floodplains return to life, the lungfish becomes part of the great renewal. As it moves through the freshly filled pools, it stirs up sediment rich with nutrients. These nutrients feed microscopic plants and algae that form the base of the aquatic food chain. In its search for food, the lungfish unwittingly creates microhabitats for smaller creatures. Even in its solitude, it is an architect of life. Its predators, birds, mammals, and larger fish, rely, indirectly, on the bounty that its activity sustains. To remove the lungfish from this equation would be to silence a hidden, sustaining note in the song of the African wetlands. For many local communities, the lungfish also carries cultural meaning. In some regions, it is considered a delicacy, one of the few sources of nourishment available in the harshest dry months. In others, its ability to rise from the earth after years of absence inspires reverence. It is seen as a creature of endurance and rebirth, a spirit that endures the death of the land and returns when hope does. Through the eyes of the people who live beside it, the lungfish becomes more than an animal. It is a symbol of faith in renewal, a reminder that even the longest drought eventually breaks. In modern times, however, the world it inhabits grows increasingly uncertain. Droughts arrive more frequently. Rainfall patterns shift, stretched thin by the warming of the planet. In many parts of Africa, the delicate cycles of wet and dry that once sustained entire ecosystems now swing between extremes. Even for a creature as adaptable as the lungfish, the balance becomes harder to maintain. Polluted water systems threaten its delicate lungs. Expanding agriculture drains wetlands faster than nature can replenish them. And as habitats shrink, so too does the stage upon which this ancient survivor performs its cycle of endurance. Yet, true to its nature, the lungfish continues. It waits, hidden beneath the soil, for the right conditions to return. Its story, as ever, is one of patience. To study the lungfish today is to glimpse the arc of evolution itself, a biological time capsule that connects us to the origin of vertebrate life on land. Scientists examining its DNA have found traces of the genetic blueprint that once guided fish toward walking on solid ground. Its lung structure, its embryonic development, and even the pattern of its blood vessels bridge the gap between water-breathing ancestors and the world's first amphibians. When we look at this creature, we see the echo of our own beginnings. Our evolutionary path, stretching back through eons, once passed through a creature not unlike the lungfish. There is a quiet beauty in that continuity. The African lungfish does not merely survive, it remembers. In its very cells lies the memory of the world before continents split and mountains rose. Its stillness in the mud mirrors the stillness between epochs, when life waits for change to begin anew. In the soft light after the rains, when pools glisten once more, the lungfish glides beneath the surface. The world above hums with life. Herons stalk the shallows, frogs sing to the stars, and insects shimmer in the dusk. Beneath it all, the lungfish moves calmly, silently breathing through the labyrinth of time. It is a humble creature, yet its endurance tells a vast story, one written across hundreds of millions of years, in the language of adaptation and survival. Every so often, nature presents us with a reminder of her resilience, an organism that teaches through its endurance, its quiet defiance of hardship. The African lungfish is one such teacher. Its lesson is simple but profound. Life does not always resist by fighting the storm. Sometimes, it survives by waiting for the storm to pass. Through patience, stillness, and faith in the return of water, the lungfish embodies the deepest wisdom of survival. To yield, but never to end. Its story is not only about biology or evolution. It is about time, endurance, and the delicate balance between life and the forces that shape it. As the camera of the mind drifts once more over the African floodplains, water and earth mingle in endless rhythm. The same rain that awakens the lungfish nourishes the trees, revives the grasslands, and fills the air with the music of rebirth. From the depths of ancient soil, a creature rises again, slow, deliberate, ageless. It breathes, and in that breath, the continuity of life resumes. The African lungfish, ruler of the drought, guardian of a secret older than rivers, remains one of nature's most stirring symbols of persistence. It reminds us that even in stillness, life endures.